Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Leafy Camo Podcast, where we fully cover all things Pokemon. Today, of course, I'm joined by Dallas White and Bobby Lawler. How is it going, everybody? And we're going to have a few topics today. We're going to be looking at the League Cup that we all went to this past weekend, which is great. We're going to be looking at Portland regionals along with Sao Paulo and a little bit of Singapore regionals that happened this past weekend as well, and the results there, and a little bit of the Nagata City League or Champions League that happened over in Japan in the future format, which is nice. We'll be introducing a new segment that we definitely did not steal from another popular podcast at all. Completely original property. And then we're going to be wrapping up with our regular, talking about the events in the area and the like, and wrapping things up. So, Dallas, how was your weekend? What'd you do?
I top eighted my it was my first time getting a top 8 in a cup, so that felt great. My second cup ever.
Noise.
And I felt like a complete idiot in top 8.
Care to elaborate?
Yeah, it was a flying Pika, and of course I'm playing Lugia. I've never gone against a flying Pikachu before, so I never thought to read the card, because I'm like, oh cool, it's 310 HP. I prized Urshifu, so clearly I can't hit with it. So I'm like, cool, I'll just hit him with Tyranitar, mill 4 cards off my deck, and I'll weaken it. But of course, because it's flying Pikachu, A, it's weak to electric, and B, it cannot be hit by basic Pokemon. So I powered up Tyranitar just to mill 4 cards off the top of my deck.
Man. So yeah, this was hilarious because I was judging the event. So I was literally just sitting there watching this happen. It was like a slow motion car crash. It was freaking hilarious. I obviously couldn't say anything. I was just sitting there watching him power up this Tyranitar and was like, okay, what was he gonna boss something? And then you play like a research or something. I'm just like, oh, okay. So yeah, at least you gave me a little bit of entertainment there, so that was nice. So yeah, Dallas, congratulations on your first top 8, though. It was excellent to watch.
Shit. Okay, well, but it was nice that I was finally able to break the Gardevoir curse, though.
That is true.
I had a habit of always losing to it. Round 1 and round 2 back-to-back Guardies. So.
So yeah, Bobby. How was your weekend? How'd you do with the cup?
I did horrendous, but I still had fun.
Now, I remember last week on the podcast, we told you to put up or shut up about the Kyogre. Did you play Kyogre this weekend? Did you?
I was going to, but then I took it out.
Oh, that's fair. So yeah, but that's okay. Plenty of other players this weekend definitely showed up with the Kyogre, so I guess Bobby had a little bit of legs for what he was talking about. But yeah, so this is, of course, the little image that I made for the top 8. Eric Smith of Rare Candy came up from Myrtle Beach and ended up taking the whole thing down with Gardevoir Mewtwo, which is very cool. Very good to see Eric again and winning things up. And then we have 2 Miraidons in top 8, which is kind of insane. Of course, Guy won the cup before this, but this is a 2 Miraidon Flaffy decks, and Tyler Holland, they're in 6th and 5th place. He actually was the first seed going into top 8 as well. So Miraidon definitely showing up. You got Vince with the Arc Pika, Mitch with the Gudra, and then a couple Lost Box variants in the top 8 as well. And then, of course, Dallas with his first top 8s. Let's go. He's repping the team well. Got his little poncho there and everything. So, yeah. Anything else to say about this? Breaking down this little piece right here? What do y'all think about this little format?
I was surprised to see the number 1 seed of Tyler go down. That was unexpected.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, Adam coming in second, very impressed. Surprised that his twin couldn't make top 8 as well. But it was nice to see. It was nice to see 2 Miraidons in top 8.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
go ahead, bud.
That's still 3 places of Lost Box.
Yeah.
In top 8.
And 3.
Still pretty insane.
So, but yeah, definitely pretty good little splattering. Very nice to see. I'm very happy that it seems we are good. We are in a format that's very diverse. Those are always the most interesting, the most fun formats you can feel like, especially on the local level. You can pretty much bring anything competitive, and you have a good chance to win, which is very nice. I enjoy these kind of formats. So yeah, I thought it was a really fun cup. I enjoyed myself. I went up there and judged. Made a little bit of cash, which was awesome. Much appreciated to the organizers there. I thought it was a really fun shop. It was the first time that I was there, at least at that shop up in the Asheville area, which was nice. And just in general, just was a fun time, and I was happy to be able to help out an organizer that was relatively new to the cup things, and I have high hopes for them in the future, and I know that they'll do fantastic going forward, even if I'm not able to make it up there to help them. So yeah, any final thoughts on the cup this weekend, guys?
It was a decent drive to get up there, but it was a fantastic cup. Like, it was very enjoyable.
Oh yeah, that drive was boring.
Oh yeah.
For sure. So, where are you going, Dallas? You giving us a tour of the house? I see there.
Working a little bit, so I'm like, let's go ahead and take them out so it's a little bit quieter for the podcast.
Fair enough. All right, so now, as we're going into this, we have lots of stats to go over. Of course, we're going to be spending most of our time on the Portland Regionals. Limitless doesn't have the full breakdown of day 2 and stuff like that, like they usually do at this point. We actually delayed the recording of the podcast a day, so we can hope for that, but what you gonna do, right? So they're putting in a lot of work over there at Limitless. I'm sure it's just only a matter of time for us to get there, but yeah, so we have like the day 1 stats here, and as we see, we have Gardevoir 20%, which is insane, and then Lost Zone Box. This is going to be various Lost Zone Box variants. I'm thinking that they're kind of clumping in like Sablezard and stuff into this as well. So Gardevoir and Lost Zone Box, big representations here, and then look at it. It's the goo. Yeah, we always hype up the goo. Nice to see it at that 6th place, but then also Miraidon at 5th, and then Lugia and Mew kind of repping around the same as well. So, what do y'all think? Is this kind of what we expected? I think this is kind of about what I expected going into this regional. Your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I'd say it's pretty expected. I am surprised that Mew still has such a strong showing. I think that's going to change for Hartford. I don't think Guardy's going to have as big of a representation for day 1, just seeing the conversion rate, but I'm curious to find out.
Yeah, for sure. Bobby, what do you think?
Yeah.
Big Lost Buck representation is nice.
Oh god, yeah, that was very nice. And then even like going into day 2, that was still pretty high up there. Even I think Lugia was first going into with a higher percentage of going day 2.
Yes.
Mew.
So yeah, this was I loaded up PokeStats. This is definitely some useful information, kind of covering up a little bit. That's okay. So yeah, obviously we see Gardevoir was first overall. And then going into day 2, a massive drop off to Gardevoir to 11%. That is huge. But then also a huge swing up from Mew. So Mew has had an excellent conversion rate. Along with Arceus Giratina V-Star, which is insane. So lots of Lost Box variants, and of course this is specific, but we can go down to generic. But yeah, I kind of like looking at the specifics. But yeah, so Sablezard getting a massive conversion rate. Turbo Lost Box getting a pretty good conversion rate as well. So, yeah, it looks like Gardevoir was the big drop off of this tournament. So, not a good conversion rate for that deck, for sure. But yeah, Miraidon also getting a boost, but Mew getting huge conversions on day 2. And you were just saying you don't know if it's going to be that good going into Hartford. I don't know. These numbers ain't really lying. What do you think about that?
I find it interesting. So Mew is, and I've heard several commentators and podcasters say it over and over. The beautiful thing about Mew is that it can play every round. Mm-hmm. So like it doesn't matter if it bricks to start, it finds a way to play. And according to these numbers, it finds a way to win. Mm-hmm. I'm impressed as a recovering Mew player. I mean, it's but I have to give respect where it's due. I mean, seeing 22% of all Mew players making day 2, it's not bad.
That's very excellent. So yeah, pretty great conversion rates. I really enjoyed seeing this. Arceus, Giratina, and V-Star going from 5% to 21 is pretty massive, honestly. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so before we get into the standings, we do have to talk about this epic turn right here. So this was in round 7, Benjamin Nackman going up against Caston Welsh. This was in time, and he ends up pulling off a 6-prize turn, basically in time to win this game. This was insane. So the way that this works, you saw he knocked out the active with Yoga Loop, right? He's forced to promote, and the way that Yoga Loop works, obviously, if you knock something out with that, you take an extra turn. In time, you are literally able to steal a turn away from your opponent. And then he was able to power up the Urshifu VMAX to knock out the Bibarel and the Calyrex VMAX on the bench for 6 prizes effectively in one turn. Absolutely insane. Such a cool little moment from the stream. Yeah, this was pretty cool. And I also just noticed he had 2 of his freaking Rapid Strike energies prized as well. Wow. So that was super wild to watch. This was all over Twitter that day once that happened. That was super cool. So, yeah, definitely not the first 6-prize turn we've seen on a big stage, but definitely the most recent. And that was just super cool to see. So, but yeah, anything else from the tournament that you guys like to point out before we get into some of these decks and breaking down certain things?
No.
Honestly, my biggest is that, to my knowledge, I think the only Gardevoir player that had a chance of making top 8 lost their winning in. So I feel it's a deck that's so heavily teched against, and honestly not that difficult to tech against, that I think we'll likely see similar numbers for Hartford. I'm honestly not surprised at how many Lost Box players were in top 8.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So, all right. So, speaking of top 8, so we're gonna look at Landon Kettler. He ended up getting first place, the Resurgence of Arctina. So, Bobby, your baby is onto the stage. You were just talking crap about it the week before. You said, why play a judge path when Mew does it better? Were we wrong? What is going on here? Break it down for us a little bit.
He won because of Skovet. I'm joking. No, Skovet was actually pretty broken for him. Especially on one of the streams, I forgot what round it was. He Squovets and draws into the Arceus V-Star, and I was like, "Wow, that's broken right there."
Yeah. For those,
and it just goes off from after that.
For those of you unfamiliar with Squovet, it's a 60 HP basic Pokemon. Has the ability Nest Stash. Once during your turn, if it's you can shuffle your hand to the bottom of your deck and then draw a single card. So its best synergy is obviously with Bibarel. You just throw away some junk and then draw your hand back up with Bibarel. But Yeah, I think it was his top 4 game against Grant. One time he needed a Giratina V-Star, and the Nestash got it for him. And then another game, I think he needed an Arc V-Star, and Squovet got it for him again. So that was just super funny, just interactions there. But yeah, so this looks pretty standard for what I've seen for Arctina. We have a couple interesting cards like the Raihan, the Cleansing Gloves, which is pretty cool, and then maybe some trekking shoes, but everything else looks fairly standard. I think this is just such a very well constructed deck. So, Dallas, you have any thoughts on this one?
I never thought that we would see such a resurgence of Arceus in general. But the Pathlock is real. I mean, but it's a very well put together deck, and honestly, a very well piloted deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so definitely congratulations to them. I really like the inclusion of the Cleansing Gloves. Helps you reach those numbers. I think that's something maybe we just kind of overshadowed a little bit. We did say Mew does the Judge Path thing a little bit better, but Mew is usually only hitting for maybe 220 to 280. With the Cleansing Gloves and the Choice Belt, that's letting it push up to that 310 number, which is nice, which is killing the Mew, and also more importantly the Gardevoir EX, which is very nice with the Cleansing Gloves. So more damage output plus the synergy. It's a little bit brickier, I suppose, but yeah, very cool. I definitely think that a lot of people are going to take this deck and run with it for sure. Yeah, that's very nice. So, congratulations to Landon Caitler. Yell at me if I mispronounce the name. I don't know. Really bad. But then we had Reagan Redsloff taking the second place with the Urshifu Lugia. We're covering up a 3 V-Guard and 3 Gift Energy down here. But yeah, so this is the build that you have been simping over, basically, Dallas. What do you think? Are we happy that we're finally actually seeing this big Urshi boy taking down a top 2?
I am. But honestly, a couple surprises in his deck, and it's actually led me to make a couple of changes in my personal deck. The fact that the fact that he dropped the Stonejourner had me confused for a while, but in hindsight, it makes sense. Like, Stonejourner's a relatively simple tech, and it's nice that it's a single prizer, but it serves such a limited capacity that you can do similar things with Urshifu. But can we talk about the penny for a second? Mm-hmm. I think that's a addition.
Yeah, I really like the penny inclusion. One of Lugia's biggest problems is always it usually will have like a fish or something just sitting on the bench being a liability. Penny lets you pick that up and potentially even reuse that resource on the following turn for a boss or a judge or something that you might need going forward, which is really nice. Or even picking up like Radiant Serena or Pumpkaboo, those like even single prize liabilities, which is very cool. So I think the penny is a very natural inclusion that I'm actually seeing a lot of decks that play, especially Luminion, include. But yeah, so other than that, looks very standard. The Stonejourner, like you mentioned, getting cut from the deck, very cool. I kind of agree with about what you're saying. Urshifu kind of does the same thing. Of course, it's not like something that can come out of nowhere. You do have to usually set up a turn or put out the base Urshifu, which is a little bit more vulnerable. But if you're able to get that VMAX up and running, most matchups that aren't like Guardy, you're taking multiple prizes with that Urshifu because they just can't kill it. They just can't kill the thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so very cool deck. I haven't been able to incorporate Penny into my list personally that much yet. I don't know, but then again, I don't really play Lugia that much. But yeah, I'm happy to see Urshifu being the inclusion, because that's what I personally pushed you, and I said, just run Urshifu. Fuck Duraludon, just run Urshifu. Yeah. So I'm happy to see my coaching, or whatever you want to call it, actually paying off as well. So, Bobby, what do you think? I know you're not the biggest Urshifu, or the biggest Lugia guy, but, like, you got anything else to say on this list?
I mean, the only part I don't like in the deck is Pumpkaboo, but I can see why he played it. Just Penny, just get rid of it.
Well, and the thing
get
is,
it out of that space.
The thing is, Pumpkaboo is so necessary now that we're seeing a resurgence of Arceus, and we see you is performing so well. We kind of have to have that Pumpkaboo now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but to a point where I see some Lugia players don't even play; they'll just go to the fourth stadium and draw it. And wait for the draw out instead of that. I'm not crazy about Pumpkaboo because there's no scoop up net or any other way to really get rid of it.
Penny.
Besides using your supporter spot.
Yeah, I mean, Penny or Collapse Stadium is usually a pretty good option.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's using a Penny because Lugia will have those off turns where it's just it doesn't necessarily need to draw because you're self-sufficient out of the deck. And you're maybe trying to hold on to a judge or a boss for the turn after or something. So it does get a lot of those turns sometimes where it's just it doesn't really need to use a specific supporter, So you can just have the Penny in hand, just pick up your Pumpkaboo randomly, and then if they ever path you again, boom, there you go. So, or your fish to get it off the field. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good little natural inclusion. It's a one of. It doesn't hurt too much. You can definitely just throw it away with an Ultra Ball or something if you don't think that you're going to need it. But, I think this is kind of much like the Arctina, I think this is kind of going to be a nice go-to list for Lugia going forward. So, very cool to see that. So, next up we got Grant Manley, our hometown hero, I guess you could say, whatever. Yeah, Grant, of course, from North Carolina, so very happy to see him repping our state up there. So we are covering up 3 Psychic Energy and 3 Lightning Energy down here. So he put up at the big stage, and he brought the Kyogre. So, what do you think, Bobby? Are you going to be taking some notes for your own Kyogre gameplay?
Well, I was playing this before I took it out.
Mm-hmm.
Our only difference was he played 1 cram, I played 2, and then in my version of it, I played 2 Lost Vacuums. He only played the 1. So, I have mixed feelings about this version of the turbo version with it because I've had some bad luck with it. It could have been just that day, but I'm more excited for the one that got 5th place version of it. But no, this deck is pretty sick when it goes.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the Pokestop is a little bit interesting. I don't know how I feel about that personally. I think I would rather have a second beach court, but it works. He has a very high energy count. Usually I see 4-3-2 or 4-3-3. He's got 5-3-3. So this is a very high energy count.
Oh no,
sure,
that's good.
But I mean, obviously that's good for the Kyogre because you want those energies, and you're gonna potentially be lost zoning them on occasion as well. So the Echoing Horn is really cool. Able to pick things out and put it on the bench is nice, and so everything else kind of standard for that. So just kind of like a turbo template. And then slapping in some synergies with Kyogre with the high energy recyclers and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But we do have a couple other Lost Zone variants. So I guess we'll look at Andrew Gatner, who ended up getting 4th place with more of a, I guess you could say, a traditional turbo version. We're covering up 2 Beach Court, 4 Water, 3 Psychic, and 2 Lightning. So, and then the high vacuum count. So this is more of like a traditional turbo. So Dallas, what you got any thoughts on this version? This is probably more what we're used to seeing for turbo.
Yeah, honestly, this is the typical turbo build that we're used to seeing. I do like that they still respect Mew and they do keep the Drapion in the deck. I don't know how I feel about the liability of having 4V Pokemon in the deck, though. I mean, that just seems like excellent bait for an Echoing Horn to have a field day with it.
Yeah, for sure. They do play a fish, which is pretty interesting. You don't see that. I don't think I've seen fish in Lost Box since pre-rotation. That's kind of crazy. But
I've only seen
Ball.
it,
Yeah, so and they play the Ultra Ball, which is fine. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I personally feel about it. I'd probably have to give it a whirl. But it is nice that you can actually swing with the fish, and then you can just shuffle those cards back in, which is cool, I guess. 120 is actually an okay number to hit, especially in the mirror. Because you can like put up fish, get swung on by like a cram or something, and then just loop yourself back in, and then boom, there you go. But I suppose it definitely helps with like the one of Bossazorius, the one of Roxanne in the late game and stuff like that, which is nice.
Definitely
but
would.
I don't know. I think that the deck can probably function without the fish and the Ultra Balls. That's me personally probably talking, but I think I would rather have those 3 spaces for other things. But obviously it made top 4, so we can't hate on it too much, right? So yeah, very cool innovations in the Lost Box as usual. I've always touted Lost Box as being a very user-friendly deck. You pretty much just can play whatever you want. It's very customizable. It's very cool. You play what feels good to you, and that's why I personally find it to be my favorite, because I can always just tweak it, because I'm a big fan of tweaking. So yeah, that's cool. But but yeah, so and then last but not least, for the Lost Box variants, we have this is Alex Szymanski, of course, our EUIC champion. We're covering up 4 Water, 4 Darkness, and 3 Psychic down here on the bottom. Bobby, you sounded like you were interested in this.
Dude,
let's go ahead. Go ahead, take it away. Break it down for us. What do you like?
So I love the Moltres the most.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the Snorlax, the Moltres. I was looking at this deck before even like we started playing it in America. I looked it up on the Poke.io site, and I saw it, and I thought it was interesting. They have like 2 different versions of it, one without the Kyogre and one with Kyogre. And Alex played it with the Kyogre, and I remember seeing his tweet saying thanks basically to Nicholas Muffet for playing it at the EUIC.
Yeah, I believe he got top 16 with this.
Yeah.
Or it was top 32 or something. He got very well placed with a deck incredibly similar to this. So, and I know I saw a lot of YouTubers and stuff making a video about it, and I thought it was like super cool idea. The Moltres, it's not like a completely new inclusion. I've seen it before, but obviously, we now have the results for this kind of build with Nick Moffitt and now Alex Szymanski with this Moltres variant as well. So yeah, I really like it. I think it's super cool. It's basically taking the concept of Sablezard, where you have like these very big late game dominating presences in like the Moltres and the Kyogre, and just to be able to come out of nowhere and just do massive damage and take big KOs. So
oh god, yes.
But yeah, which is very cool. Again, we're seeing a split of the Pokestop Beach Court. I guess.
How do you guys feel?
Oh,
How do you guys feel about the Pokestops?
I love Pokestop.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Bobby. What's speaking to you about the Pokestop in this deck?
So when it comes to Kyogre, it helps a lot. So instead of like you having to use a Comfy to try to dig for, let's just say you need an energy recycle, there's at least 2 in the deck. You need to hit 1 at least for that spot. You literally discard the 3, and if they're items, you put them in your hand. So you can hit your switches, you can hit your the switches, the level balls, the heavy ball, crystal, whatever you need, really. And he doesn't play any tools now with how they knew the new ruling with it. And sometimes you want your energies to be milled also, because it helps you clear them out. and then you can put them back into the deck and go with the Kyogre double knockout.
Yeah, it helps you set up that late game energy recycler stuff, and you're able to preserve the recyclers and stuff. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think those are all very fair points. I definitely have to look into it more. I do feel like maybe for one turn, because usually a lot of stadiums are usually only staying on the field for one turn these days.
Oh, God, yeah.
Depending on the matchup, of course. So like one turn, dig 3, and possibly getting 3 very useful items. Also, something to note here: he doesn't play VIP Pass. He's plays a max count of the Nest Balls. He's plays some Fog Crystals, and then even a copy of Level Ball. So super cool to see that. I think that VIP and Lost Zone have been, hand in hand since the beginning of time, basically. But Alex definitely saying like, nah, we don't need it. So, which is fair.
So I just looked up Nick's Muffet's deck list. He didn't play VIP in it either.
Oh, that's good. That's
cool. Yeah. Well, he only played 2 Pokestops instead of Beach Course. Oh.
Interesting. So.
Yeah. There's a couple differences between the lists. That's pretty interesting, actually.
So, is this looking like something that you're going to be piloting going forward a little bit, Bobby? Maybe bringing this out to some challenges and stuff like that? I think it fits you pretty well. Definitely. I think that this kind of fits you a little bit better. Like, you didn't seem to love, like, the pure, like, the turbo version, at least what I've seen you play. So, like, I think that you could definitely take this and run with it. I think you have a lot of fun. But, yeah, so Dallas, got any final thoughts on these Lost Box variances before we get going into some other stuff?
I mean, of all the Lost Boxes, I truly admire your single prize Lost Box decks. And the fact it's taking a little bit of inspiration from Gardevoir, for example, using the level balls, using the fog crystals. I like it. It makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. So, excuse me. So yeah, we have Austin Drake made 6th. Limitless doesn't have their list, but thank you, Facebook. We have his list right here. So it's a very standard Mew on the face of it, but he is playing a couple neat things. He's playing a Fan of Waves, very cool. Nice little tech for like Lugia. Being able to get rid of their little V-Guard energy. Yeah. Yep. Very stupid card. I still hate that card with a burning passion. So yeah. So yeah, he's also playing a copy of Cleansing Gloves, which is a card I love in Mew. This is such a good card for Mew, and like, because it helps with the Lost Box mashup. Like, so whenever you're playing Lost Box, sometimes you're going to be going for a lot of Psychic Leap loops. So you're not keeping a 3 prize liability on the board continuously, and like in those early turns, like that's some of your best pressure. And like you're knocking out Comfeys and stuff like that. The Cleansing Glove says, I could just knock out your Comfey. I don't need to waste my power tablets. So you can save your power tablets for the things you actually need to use them on, which is so nice. Also, of course, helps in the mirror, helps you get up to that 310, potentially against Gardevoir as well. Psychic is just like a really good type to hit for right now. So I love the inclusion of the Cleansing Gloves. And then last but not least, we see Penny poking her little head in another deck. And yeah, I don't know exactly what I feel about the Penny in this deck, but I definitely like it, because sometimes like they're going to be, like the Lost Box variants especially, they're going to be trying to sprinkle damage onto like Genesects and stuff like that, and you do have a lot of off turns sometimes in Mew. If you're not able to judge, like Penny can just pick it up and then move on with their life. So yeah, you guys, any thoughts on this top 8 Mew deck? So yeah,
honestly, I just love how basic and streamlined the deck is. Like, you don't have to worry about all these random one-of techs. I mean, there's a couple small one-ofs in the deck, but for the most part, it's a very consistent, very easy to prize map as well. Mm-hmm. So, thinking, okay, let me go through prizes. On a Lost Box deck, you're going to take that full 90 seconds figuring out turn 1 what you have prized. Mm-hmm. Mew, pretty simple. You've got 4, honestly, having 3 VMAXs, 4 double turbos, you can play the game.
For sure. So, Bobby, any thoughts on Mew?
I just like the penny the most.
For sure. So, yeah, I think that this is like a super well streamlined Mew. I'm definitely gonna play around with it. I've been trying cleansing gloves in my Mew, and like as you can tell, like I love it. I think that's a cool inclusion. No Lost City. I'm a little. I love my Lost City in my deck, in my Mew.
That is a little weird because of Drakeon.
Yeah, so I love like 4-1 or 3-1 Path Lost City. This card right here, by the way, is a Feather Ball. I sat there looking at that for like 5 minutes, trying to like zoom in and stuff, and I finally figured it out earlier. I'm like, oh, it's a Feather Ball. Okay, duh. And then I kind of felt stupid. But yeah, so yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. Very straightforward Mew. Always loved seeing Mew performing. So yeah, next up though, we have Anthony Perez repping the Miraidon. So much Miraidon going on around the regions, which is cool. And he's running, of course, the Flaffy in it, and a Magnezone, a 2-1 Magnezone V and V-Star line. Very, very cool. And then a split of the Seal Stones, Forest and Sky, which is pretty cool. So other than that, kind of straightforward. Miraidon, very cool. Exactly what I expect from Miraidon. So yeah, but yeah, Dallas, what do you think about this guy?
Honestly, I love the 1-1 split of the Forest and the Sky because it allows you to go in 2 different directions. If you need to take quick, heavy...
You have 3 different V-Star powers in this deck.
Yeah, so it's nice. On the quick heavy hit, okay, cool, we can Forest Seal Stone to hypothetically grab an Arb grab a or I'm sorry, if they have an Arven, they can use Arven to grab a Forest Seal Stone and a electric generator. They can use Forest Seal Stone to grab another electric generator. I mean, so, that way they're hitting 2 of them if they need to knock out a Lugia quickly or something like that. But I like that they have Sky just so they can think, okay, hypothetically, we've got a Lugia V-Star in the active. I have energy on it. Let's just go ahead and make this a 3-prize instead of a 2-prize situation. Mm-hmm. But then, we can't ignore the Magnezone as well.
For sure. Yeah, I like Miraidon a lot. I haven't loved the Flaffy versions, but I mean, Flaffy's showing up for sure. I think that only one switch cart is a little sketchy. I don't know. Yeah, because I love the switch carts. Like in the Miraidon list that I play I think 3 switch carts and 1 rope.
Right.
So yeah, I really like the switch carts because it's just nice to get that little bit of extra healing off, on occasion. So the EXP share is nice. Being able to conserve energy sometimes later on in the game, your generators are not hitting as well or something like that, and your EXP share can definitely help keep you in the game a little bit more, which is nice. Yeah, the 3 Arven, which is interesting. I don't think the deck necessarily needs 3 Arven, but it's a cool card.
I mean, a bit ambitious, but it's nice to ensure that you can hit it when you need to.
For sure. So, Bobby, any thoughts on Miraidon?
It's Miraidon. No, I'm joking. I like it. I probably will try this build out. I just have to get the Flaffies, Mareeps, and 1 more Miraidon, and I can build the deck, and I'm going to try it out.
All right. Yeah, for sure. So I like that. So, but yeah, definitely some things I would like to tweak about it, but I'm down giving this a shot for sure myself. So it seems pretty cool. Last but not least, though, we have Nathan Strafford finishing out the top 8 with Arceus, Duraludon, and Umbreon VMAX. Okay. So on this, on the bottom here, we're covering up 3 Fighting and 3 Darkness Energy. Yo, Bobby, what is up with that Umbreon? What is going on here? This is pretty wild.
I love Umbreon. Umbreon is so good. And I was sitting there wondering when somebody was going to actually try to tech it in as a even as a non-attacker. Just use it as a switch, like another Balsa's Order for a Pokemon instead. And I was like, oh, crap. That's pretty broken that he did that with the Duraludon.
Yeah, for sure. This is just going the long storied past of us running these Pokemon that, evolve and then gust up. If you are unaware, because Umbreon has been out, it has been on the fringe a little bit, has the ability Dark Signal. Whenever you go to evolve it's a boss's orders. It drags up something on their bench, which is very cool. And then for Psychic Double Colors, does 160 damage, which is a very solid number to hit for, especially if you're hitting into Psychic Weak, or Dark Weak Pokemon, excuse me. So very, very cool. So yeah, so Umbreon definitely making waves there. Pretty interesting to see like things like the Radiant Alakazam. I don't necessarily get that one. Because you're not really doing spread damage. I guess I was watching Uncommon Energy earlier today, and they were talking about maybe it's for like it could be good in like the like Turbo Lost Zone matchup when they get their Dragonite and they're spreading the damage, you can move the damage around and stuff like that, and set up things with Hawlucha and stuff. But like, I don't know. I feel like that's a little much, like. I think I'd rather have like either like a Gardevoir to reduce damage or a Serena to heal or something. Like, I don't know. It's a cool idea. It worked for him. So there's that. But yeah, and then
we can't say anything.
Yeah, so it worked for him. So that's good for him. But yeah, we have like that's really cool. So this is pretty much just kind of like Alex Szymanski's deck, except instead of Vulpix, we're throwing in Umbreon, so that's pretty cool. So, but yeah, Dallas, you got anything to say about this kind of whack supporter line going right here, though?
I mean, it's definitely a supporter line. You have a lot of one-ofs. So I like the Hawlucha. The Karen's Conviction is interesting.
Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, because Karen's Conviction is a little bit out of sync, your single strike Pokemon do 20 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken, so that's pretty cool. So, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I know, it's just very interesting, like, the fact that they're running one Luminion with that, with such a diverse supporter spread. I don't love it, but I can't argue against it because it made it a big regional.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. The Volo is super cool. Be able to pick up one of your Pokemon V. Excuse me.
Dude, that card is so awesome.
Or discard one of your Pokemon B. That's right. Excuse me. And then the Adventurer's Discovery. I mean, you're almost entirely V Pokemon. So, like, you might as well play the Adventurer's Discovery. Just get any 3 Pokemon V, which is just awesome. You're able to play a search card plus a Gust in the same turn with Umbreon, and then also set up the rest of your game, which is great. And then you have the inbuilt consistency of Arceus V-Star, so this is super cool, man. Like, I don't think that this is going to be the next, world-changing deck or anything, but this is cool as hell.
It is,
and I love to see innovation like this, so... But yeah, so this is the top 8. I'm glad that we were able to get some stats for the top 8, but this is awesome. So very cool, diverse. Like, we had 3 Lost Zone variants in this top 8, but none of them were the same, and that's just awesome. That's super cool to see, in my opinion. So yeah, so that's awesome. I guess we can just take a little bit of time. We can look at Sao Paulo. We only have 2 deck lists for Sao Paulo, the top 2 decks, which is pretty cool. So Lost Zone ended up taking it down, kind of a Turbo Lost Zone variant, looking very similar to like a traditional Turbo Lost Zone. Is there anything here kind of poking out to you, Bobby, as I'm covering up 4 Water Energy, 3 Psychic, and 2 Lightning?
Not really. It's your basic. I mean, he added in a Sky Seal Stone, which I could see why. It's good for them situations like he plays Drapion. You're taking 4 prizes off of Mio. You're playing the Dragonite and the Raikou. You take off 2. You take 3 prizes from any V-Star deck. Yeah. So it's your basic.
It's pretty cool. So yeah, it's nothing too crazy going on there. And then we do, of course, have Damian Fernandez Oros running a very cool Mew deck. I'm covering up 2 Lost City, 2 Path, 1 Lost City, 1 Collapse, and 4 Double Turbo down here. What do you think about this one, Dallas? Is this what you expected Mew to become?
That is definitely not what I expected Mew to become. I do love that Silene is still prevalent. However, I don't love the fact that, to me, this build feels a little clunky compared to like the stereotypical Pablo Mesa build, which is just phenomenal. Pablo's build's clean, streamlined. This one,
a little all over the place.
Feels like there's so many planned techs that you're almost getting away from what Mew VMAX is designed to do.
Yeah, so this is definitely leaning more into like the control side. We do have the Pidgeot V that can shuffle itself back into the deck and all cards attached, of course, which is cool. And then the biggest thing is this Dreepy, which gives the deck a way to pretty much just stall out a game. You can do 10 damage and they can't retreat. So think of a lot of decks that don't play switching cards. Like a lot of Gardevoir decks don't play switching cards. Lugia doesn't play switching cards, so they can just drag out something and then just keep something trapped there, and they can never deck out because they have the Pidgeot V. So they effectively win the game right then and there.
I'm curious how many times he actually done that. I am curious of how many times he decked out his opponent because of that.
Most likely not many. Most people, once they recognize the lock and they recognize that they can't get out of it, will just scoop it up. Let's go to game 2 or 3 or whatever.
You'd be surprised.
I guess some people could just fight it out to waste the time, but definitely leaning into the more control side of Control Mew. But at the same time, only running 2 Path, which is kind of weird to me. If you're going for like pure control, but I guess it also you don't want to shut off your Pidgeot, I guess. But I mean, when did Mew ever care about shutting off its own abilities?
All it needs now is a Mill Tank.
There you go. So, but yeah, pretty cool. Of course, we can't really hate on it too much. It did get top 2 at a 765 player tournament, which is very, very nice. And then, so one more that we do want to talk about, we want to look at the Singapore regionals, which are playing in the same kind of format that we have. We don't have a ton of lists here, but I do want to take a look at the winner of the tournament, because we're going to see something a little bit familiar. Yeah, Arctina ended up taking this down as well, so that's pretty crazy. Let me go over here so I'm not covering up too much, but yeah. This is strikingly similar to the tournament, to the deck that won our regional as well. We see one more trekking shoes. We see a Raihan and a Sharon's Care, but it is all pretty much the same kind of thing. The Squovit and the Pokemon lines and stuff like that. This is pretty funny. I just thought it was more funny than anything that like halfway across the planet, somebody is winning a large tournament with the same freaking kind of the same deck, which I just thought that was super cool. Of course, there's only 189 players. I say that as only, but we don't want to disrespect, of course, but yeah, so that's still very cool, very respectable to see that. And we see Archeops getting 3rd. We got Hisui and Gudra. Gardevoir took 2nd place, which is nice. So definitely check out PokeStats for some more tournament results and the like and stuff like that. So all right, so before we go and take a peek into the future at some of our next formats, I think it is time for us to introduce our newest segment to the podcast. Guess That Flavor Text. Yes, totally, completely original. If you guys do not know, Guess That Flavor Text, one of us takes a card, and we read the flavor text. Then our other 2 opponents will have 3 lifelines, as you see over there. They can they can ask for the set name, the Pokemon stage, what stage the Pokemon is, and an attack name. And based on how many lifelines they can get 4, 3, 2, or 1 point if they guess correctly. So I'm kicking things off, and I am going to be starting off. Guess that flavor text, Russ. We of course have a leaderboard and everything. And one more thing to note, because it is 2 versus 1, if I am able to stump Bobby and Dallas together, I gain a point. So, gentlemen, are you ready for the first Guess That Flavor test of the Leafy Camo Podcast?
Let's do it.
No. All right.
No.
To survive in the cold waters of Galar, this Pokemon forms a dome with its legs enclosing its body so it can capture its own body heat.
Oh, God.
So it's a sword shield.
Yeah. And we know it's going to be water type.
Okay.
Sword and shield water type.
I will read it again just to keep it fresh in your mind. To survive in the cold waters of Galar, this Pokemon forms a dome with its legs, enclosing its body so it can capture its own body heat.
Can we get a stage?
It is a stage 1. Now keep in mind, you two need to work together on this. You are sharing points.
I'm not super well versed in the newer Pokemon, and you know this.
I only pay attention to actually relevant cards.
I mean, if it's not a meta card, it's typically of no interest.
Exactly. Oh man. Oh God, it's a stage 1.
It is a stage 1.
I don't think it's an older Pokemon.
No, it's It's a Galar region.
Unless it's a Galarian version.
No, it could be actually.
Now keep in mind, there are plenty of other Pokemon that live in Galar that aren't introduced in Galar. So, it could be an older Pokemon that is in the Galar region.
And I'm scared.
The set?
I'm scared.
What's that?
Okay, we have Silver Tempest as the set.
Like, I want to ask an attack, but I think it's going to have a generic bullshit attack name that 30 other Pokemon.
It is. Let's see.
Let me grab my Silver Tempest Master Log.
Oh my God, you cheater! No! Bad! Alright. Would y'all like to swing it, or would y'all like just your final lifeline? Get that attack name out of the way.
Give us the...
Okay, the attack name, Spike Shot. It is a stage 1 from Silver Tempest, and the attack name is Spike Shot.
I can picture the Pokemon in my head. Jesus Christ.
Spike Shot. And it's oh God.
I can freaking picture it. I'm just thinking about crab. Doesn't help me in the slightest.
No, I feel you.
Alright, put those 2 brain cells together. You guys can do this.
Oh my God.
I'm going to give y'all about another minute, and then I'm going to need an answer, alright?
I'm sure the viewers are going to be yelling at us.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God. I wish there was a Galarian, I wish there was a Galarian Cloyster or something like that.
A Galarian Cloyster? I mean, you could guess Cloyster if you want.
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
okay.
Not a Stunfish. What is it?
All right, I'm gonna need an answer. Give me an answer. Come on, put it together.
I don't know.
Dallas,
I
you
would
got
say I don't know.
anything?
Gunfish. I don't know.
Stunfisk?
That's metal.
I don't know. Fucking Galarian crab legs.
Fine.
Go with
All
Galarian.
right, we don't know.
Okay. Well, I stumped them on the inaugural episode. The card is Toxapex.
Oh, it's a dart.
Toxapex. Yes, it is. This is
That's
a water.
pretty, yeah.
This is a water poison type in the game, by the way. So yeah, there we go. So we will pop over
Totally
here.
irrelevant.
Totally relevant card in the format. We all know about the tier 1 archetype, Toxapex. So I have claimed the first point of a Guess That flavor text. Let us know down below if you got it. So yeah, that seems it's pretty fun. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing forward. Next time it's going to be up to Bobby to try to stump us. All right, so since we had a little bit of fun, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the future, and let's talk a little bit about the Nagata Champions League, which looks like we got the land of the Gardevoir. So this is in the future format with Clay Burst and Snow Hazard included. This is going to be including cards from our upcoming Paldea Evolved set. And it looks like it was taken down by Yoshiyuki Yamaguchi with a very cool, more kind of standardish Gardevoir deck with some very interesting inclusions like Iono, basically the bastard child of En and Marnie. We have Super Rod making its triumphant return, and then this is Luminous, Reversal Energy, excuse me, Scramble Energy. It's Scramble Energy, which is pretty cool. And if you guys don't know, Reversal Energy, if you're down on prizes, you can attach this to a evolved non-rulebox Pokemon, and it provides 3 Rainbow Energy, which is insane. So, I have been on a massive Gardevoir kick lately. I love this deck, and I am loving that it is showing up in these potential formats going into the future. So, but before I go too crazy on this, do you guys have anything that you want to point out?
No. Champions Festival. So it just shows you guys don't actually need it to win.
That is true. You don't need Champions Festival, but then again, like, Champions Festival is, I would technically say, the optimal way to play the deck. But
oh yeah,
whatever.
but
I mean, they really kind of screwed us plebeians that can't get it.
Unless you have 1,200 a full play.
yeah, I'm good.
For sure. But yeah, so this is really cool. I'm very happy to see it. This is pretty much just my Gardevoir list with some Ionos and stuff like that in it, which is very awesome. I'm super happy to see this deck really popping off still. I would still like to play the second Zacian. I love 2 Zacian in the deck. But we do have 2 Super Rod, which means that we don't have to spend our supporter for turn recovering Pokemon, which is sometimes a massive pain in the ass for the deck.
Yeah,
Having to Clara or Miriam, which means that we can't draw supporter or boss in the same turn. It's just such a pain. So super cool to see the Super Rod. I think that it's going to be a very natural inclusion in this deck. So very cool. Yes. But of course we have plenty of other decks to look at, like a second placed Gardevoir deck piloted by Yuki Sasagawa. Very cool. And this has the threaded Drifloon, which does 10 more damage for each
30.
energy, or 30 more damage for each damage counter on it. So you can load this thing up to do 180 damage, which is kind of insane and just super cool. It's so cool. Again, no Champions Festival, but it is what it is. We see a Zinnia's Resolve, which is pretty fire. We have my boy, the Mirage Step Curlia, more Super Rods and Ionos and stuff. Iono literally just taking the place of Marnie and N as a 4 of, and basically everything, which is awesome. And the Scramble Energy again. Yeah, this is just awesome. I'm super happy to see Gardevoir still on top of its game. Very cool. So yeah, Dallas, you got any ideas for this one as well? It's Gardevoir.
I don't think it'll be as prevalent once it lands stateside. Pokemon players are intrinsically very, very much creatures of habit.
Mm-hmm.
People because it's what they know, it's what they sequence well. People still Pulse Box because it's what they know, it's what they sequence well. Same can be said for you. Gardevoir is just the new kid on the block, and people enjoy beating up on it right now.
Hey,
just to prove that.
I like. Hey, okay. Speaking of Lost Box, though, we got us a Lost Box in top 3. This is incorporating that Luxray we talked about a few episodes as well. This is the Luxray. If it is down on prizes, you can put it onto your bench, which is awesome, and does 180 damage for 3 energy. Well, how do you do that? Well, of course, we just have Mirage Gates. We don't even need the Scramble Energy, which is awesome. Is also playing 1 copy of the Jet Energy, which is very cool. This is an energy card that lets you switch when you attach this card to one of your benched Pokemon, you switch it with the active. So it's able to kind of act as like a one-sided escape rope, and then you just can pay that to retreat or something, or power up like Snorlax or something like that, which is pretty cool. It's also playing the new Stadium card, Artisan. Once during each player's turn, they may search their deck for a basic Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box and just put it straight onto the bench, which is pretty cool. They do play, of course, like the Dragonite and the Raikou, but they're able to just boost their consistency, get out like their Radiant Greninja, and their Snorlax, Comphase, obviously, and stuff like that, which is just super cool. So, yeah, nothing too crazy. Bobby, like, what do you think about this Evolution, the Lost Box deck with these new introduced cards?
I like it. I like the Luxray. It's another Snorlax hitting for 180 damage. You're going to be taking out your V-Stars, even your V-Maxes, and they're only taking out technically 2 prizes, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And you're taking their 3, so I am definitely going to be messing with this a lot. Obviously I play a lot of Lost Box, regrettably at times. I love the new Stadium, Arzitan, however you want to say it, because I'm butchering names horribly. I like it. It adds more consistency. So,
yeah,
I'm going to enjoy it more.
Yeah, I really like having Super Rod back, because same deal as I was saying before, using your supporter card for turn to drag Pokemon back is always a pain in the ass. We have an Arctina making top 4, which is cool, with a tiny flying Pikachu package as well.
No.
This is no. Yeah, they're playing the skull and beef roll shenanigans.
No.
I want to rip.
Man. No. So
hey, Dallas, on Thursday, if we play, I'll put a Flying Pikachu in one of my Lost Box decks for you, okay?
Yes, put the Flying Pikachu in the Lost Box deck. I mean, if the Lost Box can make it work.
Don't try me. Don't try me. I'll do it.
Funnily enough, the only new card in this entire deck is a 1 Iono, which is super interesting. So that's kind of neat. So shout outs to them. We have a Lugia making top cut here. It is kind of like a single strike Lugia, but it is incorporating that Luxray potentially for the mirror, or just like a good 180 price hit, which is awesome. They're still playing a V-Guard and the Scramble Energy. I'm just gonna keep calling it Scramble Energy. keep forgetting what it's called. Y'all are just gonna have to get over it. It's Scramble Energy, all right? So yeah, so yeah, no Mesagosas. Yeah, I don't care. So no Mesagosas. We're running Tower of Darknesses. They're running 2 Ionos, which is awesome. So yeah, this is so yeah, Dallas, what do you think? They still have the Stonjourner. They're dropping the Urshifu. Are these Japanese players crazy?
I mean, I do like that they're cutting down on liability just a little bit. It's nice. Honestly, I'm excited for the Jet Energy. I'm excited for the Scramble. I don't know how it feels to get rid of that heavy hitter of Urshifu, but I mean, you've got Stonjourner. The only thing that Lugia, in my opinion, has always is lacking is a good electric Pokemon in Lugia to take down that mirror match. So I think the Luxray is going to be a pleasant addition there.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the Scramble Energy is a nice inclusion, and everything after that's looking pretty standard. Iono just makes every deck good too. So, yep.
So just Energy Aqua return.
Yep. So yeah, very nice. We got another Gardevoir here. This is looking about the same. We got their Zacians. We got our Drifloons. This one's only running 11 energy, and they're also playing three stadiums. They're including an Artisan as well, which is very cool. Yeah, so just more of the same with Gardevoir, just still doing its Gardevoir thing. I have been really loving 12 energy in Gardevoir. I think that Tord was really onto something. I love 12 energy in Gardevoir. So no, but 11's still good. So yeah, there's that. So another Gardevoir. We got the Goo getting a 7th place here. This is running a Zamazenta and the new Spiritomb that says basic V Pokemon don't have abilities. Why?
Wow, these.
So yeah, jeez. So this is cool. They're running a couple Jet Energy as well, and Artisan, Super Rod. So like this is just a nice natural evolution of Goodra. They're even running a couple Psychic Energies with the Sableye as well, which is interesting. Right. That we have seen a couple Goodras try this as well. So nothing super surprising, but yeah, it's nice to see Goo still doing things.
I like the Zama Anta.
Yeah.
I like that.
So yeah, it's cool deck. Cool deck is good. Nothing too crazy. Just nice new inclusions, evolutions of archetypes. We got a Mew, another Mew. So this one is another one of those super cool hybrid kind of fusion between the fusion build and like the path build with like the judges and stuff like that. This is actually more on like the fusion side of things because they are running heavier Meloetas and stuff like that and only one path. I'll be honest, I have never liked Crystal Cave in Mew. I thought it to be such a pointless card. I get it, but like, just no. Just play better. I don't freaking know. I don't know. I've never liked it. What do you think, Dallas? Do you like this Mew?
Just the answer. There's so many better cards that could be played. I would rather see a Crushing Hammer than a Crystal Cave. It just gets to a point to where it looks like people are adding unnecessary cards for the sake of being unnecessary. I get it. It performed well. But I doubt Crystal Cave is why they made top 8 in the tournament.
Yeah.
And Crystal Cave's a liability.
I don't know.
But yeah, he only did it for the Genesect.
But yeah, I mean, it is another stadium bump, I guess, so there's that. But, and like, again, the only new card is the one Iona, which is kind of neat. We have another Lost Box here. This is another Kyogre Lost Box with the Zamazenta. We're seeing kind of like, a pattern emerging. We got a couple Jet Energies. We got the Artisan in these Lost Box variants. So just Lost Box not getting a ton, but like that's kind of how it's always been. It's like in Lost Origin, it got that baseline with the Comfey, the Cramorant, and the Sableye, and the Mirage Gates, and Colress, and blah 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 blah. And at each set, it's kind of just added one new little piece that it could kind of get. Like, Crown Zenith, it got Zamazenta. And, now we're getting artisans and stuff like that. So, yeah, just more evolution of Lost Box, which is always nice. And, of course, the Super Rods. So, yeah, cool.
Super Rod. I'm about to order mine.
So, yeah, we got a couple Lost Zone Giratina decks. We got a couple Ionos and Jet Energies is, like, the only new inclusions. I haven't personally loved Lost Tina in a while. I thought it was good for a while there, but it's kind of fallen off a lot in my opinion. So there's that one, and then we got another one here.
Hey, I give Daniel a shout out for playing Tina when it's not the greatest deck.
Yeah. So yeah, and this one looks damn near identical. Maybe there's like one card difference, but I'm not
they
super
both
hard.
do.
But yeah, so yeah, that's cool. We have another Mew, another Fusion Mew, with a Vitality Band. That's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah,
and
real.
a basic Psychic Energy.
Hey,
Okay.
They said, "Screw that Xenoblade."
I don't know how I feel about that. I'd rather have the third double turbo because they only
Yeah,
have two
so
double
would
turbo. Like what? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But that's something that's neat. We do have to keep in mind that they do play best of one over there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We have our first Mewtwo v Union Gardevoir, and they're playing two different Gallades. They're playing the Buddy Catch Gallade, which lets them tutor out a supporter, and then they're playing the Dynablade Gallade. I honestly don't know what this is for. It does 120 damage to each, or it does 60 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon V in play.
Well, for each. If they're playing...
It just does 60 for each. Okay, excuse me. So, I guess.
I never was crazy about it.
I don't know.
They're hitting for 360 damage.
Yeah, something to note, though, they are playing 4 Scramble Energy, which is a little insane. So they're really leaning into probably attacking more with, like, Shining Arcana Gardevoir, which is pretty cool, especially with only 6 Psychic Energy. Basic Psychic Energy to accelerate. That's very interesting to me. They are playing the Luxray, which is pretty cool. They're playing the Artisans, another Zinnia's Resolve, and the Ionos. So yeah, this is super interesting. I really don't have any other word for it. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's there. Only one Gardevoir EX kind of scares me, because like that's like the reason you're playing the deck. Like, come on. I don't know. That kind of scares me a little bit, but I guess you have Peonia. Hope.
Yeah.
We got one more Gardevoir deck right here. This is also playing the Buddy Catch Gallade, which is pretty cool. And then more kind of like standard-ish stuff. We have, but we do have a Thornton. That's kind of neat. I think that's a new thing that I don't think I've ever seen a Gardevoir deck play Thornton. That's kind of neat, I suppose.
I like the Agatha.
Yeah. I actually know why this is here. It's so you could freaking hit harder with Drifloon.
Yep.
Yeah. You move 3 damage counters over, and now you can freaking throw more damage out there. So.
Yep. That's pretty broken, actually.
That's actually kind of cool.
I might actually take that idea.
Yeah, not a terrible idea. But yeah, this is pretty neat. We got the Scramble Energy again. We are actually seeing a Jelly in a Gardevoir deck again.
Jelly. God, I love Jelly.
Yeah, so this is pretty neat. Another Gardevoir deck, doing kind of well, and then we have a couple more Lost Zone Giratinas. 4 Lost Zone Giratinas in this kind of top 16, which is pretty cool. But then like even more Gardevoirs, which is nice. So, but yeah, so this is kind of standard. Again, like the only new card is the one Iono, and the Super Rods, of course, and the Jet Energies. So, I guess a couple new cards, and then we have another Lost Tina that looking again very copy and paste from the ones we've seen before. Maybe they have an energy recycler that I'm just noticing that or something. I don't know, but yeah. So I'm guessing Lost Tina is really big for them over there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so
For
that's
best
pretty
of one,
cool.
I mean, for Tina, for best of one, it's pretty good. It gets alright. So like, if you're going against Gudra or your stall decks, Tina is very good for that stuff because it just goes like, cool, I got 10 in the lost zone. Let's use my attack power, my star power, knock it out, get it out of the way. I don't have to worry about it. Oh, you got another one? Cool. I'm just gonna hit hard against Gudra. Cool. I'm still hitting 200. Cool. You take away that 80, and then cool. I'm just swing again. What are you gonna do? It hits hard.
Yeah, for sure. So I can definitely see that. It's pretty solid for best of one. So that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so Dallas, got any other final thoughts on these Japanese results? I do find it a little weird that we don't see too many new cards, but what do you think?
In my opinion, Japan Giratina is always going to be much more prevalent than it is here in the States. I understand the lack of Lugia because it is best of one. Lugia is not a best of one deck. But like it makes sense to see so much Guardy, so much Lost Box. I'm curious to see what sort of innovation will happen once some of those cards land stateside with Paldea Evolved, and just see how much things change.
For sure. Looking pretty good. So as we decide to go ahead and wind down this podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about the tournaments that we have going on in the area. This weekend in the Charlotte area, where most of us live, we are going to be only having a league challenge at Get Some Game. Very happy that they were able to get theirs in there. I stopped in there Sunday, and because I noticed that it was not on the event locator yet, so I'm happy to see that they were actually getting in there. Maybe they just had to select an option or something like that. But yeah, so a little bit farther out from here, we of course have the Hartford Regionals afterwards. But for those of you guys staying here, we do have a cup in High Point, and then a couple league challenges on the same weekend. So definitely make it out for those as well. And then the week after, we have a challenge. And definitely some other stuff going on for sure. And then if we go a little bit farther out, I do know that there is a cup this weekend in Wilmington. So if you are willing to make the drive, head out there to Cape Fear Games in Wilmington to do that. There's also apparently one in Flowery Branch, Georgia, which is a little bit farther, but yeah. So, and Knoxville this weekend. So a couple cups within a few hours driving distance. But of course, we want to shout out Cape Fear Games as they are in our home state. So yeah. But Dallas, what is your plans for this weekend? I know that you're doing a little bit of traveling.
Yeah, I'm going up to Philly for a graduation. I'm gonna try to hit a cup or a challenge while I'm up there if I can, and I'm gonna head into Hartford actually Wednesday and try and scope out the local Pokemon scene a couple days early, and try to get my bearings and get ready for the Open on Friday and Hartford on Saturday and Sunday. Well, Saturday and hopefully Sunday.
Hey, there we go. I like it. So, Bobby, what's your plans for this coming weekend?
So this weekend, I'm probably gonna go to the Get Some challenge with like two other, like Drew and a couple other people. Kind of get ready for Hartford because me and two other guys are gonna drive up there Thursday night, get there Friday morning-ish, and then meet you up at the hotel room or at the event.
I'm the lazy bastard that's flying. So yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah. I was so late. I did not want to make a freaking 12-hour drive.
Look,
Fuck
I prefer the drive because that's when all the memes happen and all the bad stuff, stuff happen. Like that was just like the time me and like four other people went to Miami for a Yu-Gi-Oh event down there, and it was bad and funny at the same time. The AC broke into our room that we were staying at. We left at 4 a.m, right when a tropical storm was about to hit us. And on the way there, we hit a tropical storm. It was a mess. And the guy's car I was driving happened to have some bad tires, and he said, "Oh, I forgot to get them changed." Oh, and we're slightly hydroplaning, and I'm like, "Guys, I'm sorry."
Fun.
If we go, we go.
Oh man, so yeah, we'll definitely be taking a look at Hartford on the next week. All of us are going to be there. I'm going to be working the event as a judge. Bobby and Dallas are going to be playing. So if you see us there, shout out, say hi. We're always welcome to say hi to you. Hi to everybody.
We're definitely going to be taking videos of the trip.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm the lazy one that's flying up. So,
but I'm going to on at the VIP table.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, you are.
Repping the podcast with the new play mat. Yo, Dallas, you got your play mat? Yo, I forgot.
I actually do have it handy, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, God.
Let's go. So, shout outs to Dallas. He got us, he got us some awesome play mats. So, yeah, we'll be repping these at local events as well as up in Hartford. So, that's awesome. So that's nice. Who knows, for NAIC we might be getting a little bit more, might be in some other swag. But yeah, so that is going to be the podcast for today, y'all. Dallas, Bobby, do we have any closing thoughts as I argue with rolling this thing up?
No, just have fun or let the top deck gods be in your favor.
Oh, I know, for real. Always have fun. Enjoy the game. Don't overdo yourself and want you to quit the game. This game is a lot of fun compared to other card games that I've played.
And I have one thing of utmost importance I'd like to say. Basic Pokemon cannot hit Flying Pikachu VMAX.
He should have swung with the Lugia.
Well, he killed the Lugia. He killed the Lugia on the turn before. And his Urshifu was prized.
You're right. That was just a bad luck right there.
Oh, my God. But anyway.
Oh, there it is.
Anyway.
I was like, I made top 8. Oh, I lost top 8. Why?
Yeah.
We don't talk about it.
First entire tournament. He just
dude. And the funny part is, he forgot to mention, the first time he played the guy in best of 1, he lost because of Path of the Peak. First turn.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The punk
Anyway,
Oh, God.
that is going to be it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope you guys all the best of luck. If you're down in Charlotte area, be sure to go say hi to Bobby at the Get Some Game Challenge. I'm uncertain if I'm going to be making it to that one this weekend, but if I am there, also be sure to say hi to me as well. Dallas, safe travels on your drive up to Philly, and that is going to be it for us today. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. We love you all. Deuces.
See ya.